Micah Parsons said he hunted down Jerry Jones in Vegas for all the Super Bowl festivities, and he had this big, long sit-down with Stephen A. Smith. Thanks to Bobby, Pepe, whoever else is responsible for cutting this up. This is Micah finding Jerry at the Super Bowl.
I think Jay's one of the best GM, owners that I've been around. And not even just I've been around because I've only been on one team, but from what I've heard from other NBA and NFL players. And it's just like this, the Super Bowl, Jerry sees me walking out the win. Jerry was at the win. He said, "Hey, you going to the Super Bowl?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going." He said, come see us. And I was like, "Hey, you got any extra tickets? I got some homeboys that want to come." Jerry sends me 4 extra tickets to the Super Bowl suite. And we just sit and talk from before the game until the whole half about players I want to bring in, players I want to be around, who do I need, who do I want to be with, future of our team. And that's just dope to have that type of feedback with an owner that, loves to hear your ideas and what you think and where the team can be. And, Jerry's been, pretty amazing about that with my family and stuff like that. So I've had them conversations with him, and we spoke for 2-3 hours just in the Super Bowl alone.
Okay. So there is getting some extra Super Bowl tickets. He is the best general manager. I mean owner. Sorry.
Yeah, which one is it?
Which one is it? It's owner.
What I like is he doesn't. He called him Jerry a couple times there, but frequently throughout this interview he'd say, "Yo, Jay." Jay's a great owner. So he's on just first letter basis now with Jerry Jones.
Jerry is Micah's GM. He may not be, pick your random Wanye Thomas's GM.
Yeah,
I think Jerry's pretty good actually about being accessible to everybody as best he can. Obviously, some people have more than others, but I think that he's generally pretty accessible to. Oh, you're part of my family. You're one of my guys.
You think if Wanye was walking down, on the streets of Vegas, he's like, "Wanye, hey, here's 4 extra tickets."
No, I think he would, at first I think he'd call him Julio or something, and then I think he'd give him 2 maybe.
All right, so Micah said he told Jerry what he needed. The reinforcements to bring in. What did you specify as that help?
Who did Baltimore have? A great linebacker core, right? Who did San Fran have? Great linebacker core. KC, Bolton, and they came along. I said, we need to get another bigger linebacker who's going to come down and I said, we need to get a super 330 nasty interior. Look how Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave caused havoc in, the last 2 games. Look at, how Ali McNeil, Detroit, and they front with Hutchinson and all them. It's just certain things where I was pinpointing we can build in this because we're slim. We have guys, and I think Osa's been great for us, and, but we just need a big old 330, can't move. Because I saw the way Chris Jones affected that Super Bowl, and I was like, my God. You
need a big boy. Get fast and clogging up the line of scrimmage, making things happen, right?
And not even just Chris Jones, Mike Pennell.
Okay, so he's talking about the big boys up front and linebackers behind him.
Isn't that just what they did last April? Didn't they go draft Mozzie Smith? He got what he wanted, and it hasn't worked out to this point. They drafted DeMarvion Overshown in the 3rd round. He was hurt, obviously, and so they missed him out. I understand everybody's generally going to get the thoughts and opinions of star players, especially within organizations, on, hey, what do you think here? What do you think there? I do always have some reservation on the idea of players playing GM, though, because consistently throughout time, we've seen that doesn't tend to work out. And when it does work out, it's like, what a great job, Dwayne Wade. You GM'd getting us LeBron. That was a great talent evaluation from you. It's like an obvious superstar. Or when it's like, man, we need to go get this guy. That has not consistently worked out.
Well, RJ, cover your ears. Because Micah already highlighted defensive tackle, which I know you don't love, linebacker, which I know you really don't love, and on the offensive side, what do the Cowboys need to do? He told Stephen A. Smith, I would say towards the end of the year, Tony Pollard was catching his rhythm again. I do think he's an every down guy. You got to think he broke his fibula, tibia, something. That's a catastrophic injury.
Catastrophic, man. Bones just don't get broken and heal.
You're talking about a guy that's really been off from that January. Came at week 1, didn't really do a lot. Takes a while to get back into football. Didn't do OTAs, mini camp, kind of did camp, a little bit like working through it, getting back into it. You saw him increase. Like he even said, I'm just now getting back to myself. I would give Tony Pollard another shot. So Micah Parsons with the RJ Choppy offseason of D-tackle, linebacker, and running back.
Man, just 3 strikes and you're out. Like there's 3 reasons never to allow players, never listen to players, never allow players to be the GMs of the team. Boy, you want to sign, you want to extend Tony Pollard.
Tag him,
make him an $11.5 million a year player.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't say how much that would be. Like, and he has no concept of
money.
He has no concept of what the cap is or value of other positions, I'm sure. But, like, we've talked about this before. If Tony Pollard, if they brought him back on $2 million a year, $3 million a year, I think we all said, like, okay, fine, whatever. Yeah. Like, it's a couple million. So if that's what it is, that could be what he's talking about. Because I don't know that his market's going to be that much higher than a few million based on how he played last year.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I mean, no, it's just it's not a position. That's not a money position. That's a youth position.
Was it Marcus Mosier who sent out
said something stupid? Probably.
Bobby's guy,
the running back number.
Yeah, Bobby's guy, and this was obviously Mosier, and he put out the running backs of the Super Bowl winning team since 2009 and their cap percentage.
Probably stole this content too.
Last 2 years has been Isaiah Pacheco, 0.4, 0.3. Cam Akers, 0.8. Leonard Fournette, 1.2. Damian Williams, 0.9. Sony Michel, 1.0. LeGarrette, 0.7 and 0.6. CJ Anderson, 0.4. LeGarrette again, 0.2. You got to go back to Marshawn in 2013 at 6.2. Ray Rice at 4.1. And Ahmad Bradshaw at 2.3. And then Starks at 0.1 and Pierre Thomas at 0.4. That's the percentage of the cap for the starting running backs of the Super Bowl champs since 2009. And, you know, basically, they call the modern era of the NFL basically 2010. Like this, there's a formula here, and it's not saying that you can't pay a running back because when you have the elite quarterback, you can do whatever you want. But like, just the formula is like youth. Give me youth. I would much rather have youth at the position, and there is no amount of money that you can give me that say, hey, you know what, the veteran running back at a cheap deal is fine.
Yeah,
I'd much rather have fresh legs.
I'm bailing on the RJ Choppy belief system for the other 2 things, though. I agree with Micah. I'm fine with D-tackle and linebacker. I'm going back to the Stone Age. They have to get bigger. They have to get tougher. They have to get more physical. Whatever that means. Whether that means safety, fine. More, you know, you want more run stoppers at DN versus, you know, your pass rushers, fine. I agree with Micah 2 out of the 3. I disagree with him and agree with you still on running back.
Yeah, I think
now Overshown's skill set, more speed / coverage. How much physicality?
Oh, he's incredibly physical.
Okay,
like, and that was one of the things I remember. We were watching the Jacksonville preseason game, and Tank Bigsby took a carry, and Bigsby's a big guy. His name's Tank. He's a big bowling ball running back, and
that doesn't mean anything. Fat people are named Tiny.
Well, fat,
right.
Whatever else. Overshown steps in and just stood him up. And somebody with the Cowboys walked by me in the press box right after that play, and they were like, that's a big effing running back that Overshown just stood up. He's like, that's the difference that he makes.
So on television yesterday, the Derrick Henry hype train started to get going, showing his workouts. Henry's always here in Dallas working out, but they're like, oh, the Ravens are interested. There's a report the Ravens are interested in adding like a veteran presence at running back. They just had on the screen teams that should try and acquire Saquon Barkley, and Mike Tannenbaum said Dallas Cowboys for Saquon. Notable free agent running backs this offseason: Henry, DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler.
I don't want to pay for anybody.
Okay.
Like anything, it's got to be a complete value or just draft somebody. To me, I really do. I think
because today the franchise tag window opens. It closes on March 5th. This is the Dalton Schultz discussion that we had and Tony Pollard last year.
Yeah, to me, I don't think that anybody, everything is, we talked about this yesterday. A contract is an investment, not a reward. Like for the most part, unless you're Steve Sarkisian, it's an investment. It's not a reward. And so with these running backs, it's just the numbers are ridiculous. The percentage hit of guys who, when they hit 27, go downhill is like 95% to where they never touch it. I think the last running back, I'd looked this up a couple years ago, it may have changed since then, but the last running back who had a year in his 30s that was better than like the years 27 or earlier was Thomas Jones. It's been forever.
Oh God!
Like it
Bears,
has been.
Jets. Bears, Jets.
It has been forever since somebody had that sort of production. So to me, no, you running backs, you use them up 4 years and then let them go.